Hey yo, what's up, everybody? Welcome into a brand new episode of the Review at Rob Show. I appreciate you very much hitting that click, playing this here episode, man, and joining me in the movie realm of this channel. On this week's episode, we're gonna be talking about the film Borderline. Recently came out a couple days ago, so we're gonna be talking about that as well. We have all kinds of news, a lot of horror, thriller, spooky news to talk about with you. Again, maybe a little DC to talk about, maybe a little Marvel to talk about as well on this week's episode, man. So appreciate you hitting that play, man. Cause have some fun. Hit that subscribe and like if you haven't already. And I do have the Halloween Horror Night Show on this channel as well. So if you can check that out, man, I would be much appreciated. And some other things cooking in this brain. But that's for another time. This week's episode is going to be movie review time, baby. And here is that lovely poster starring our two lovely stars, Samara Weaving and Ray Nicholson. This film is rated R for violence and language, runs at a 1 hour, 34 minutes, a little sweet spot for horror thriller films, and it's mostly classified as a mystery thriller comedy movie. I did not know much about this movie going into it other than the fact that it starred Samara Weaving and Ray Nicholson. And I saw the trailer, like I want to say a month, maybe 2 months ago when it released. That's it. And that's typically how I roll. I don't really look into synopsis of films and all that stuff. Like the trailer's good enough for me to get into it. The synopsis normally gives away too much about movies. So I kind of went into this with the bare minimum of information that I had going into it. So basically what this movie is, it is a Samara Weaving's character is a pop star celebrity icon in her world, and 90s icon and all that stuff, and she's just doing her thing, and then of course turns into a home invasion. She's got a stalker, man, as sadly happens with celebrities, played by Ray Nicholson in this movie. This movie is essentially a home invasion film, which is nothing new to the realm of horror or thriller films. We've had so many of those throughout the history of both, and we will continue to have them, I'm sure. It's normally a pretty easy topic for them to use in that realm and all that stuff. And some of them are normally really good movies. Some of them are meh, and all that stuff. So it's mostly that, but this movie's pretty dang funny as well. And it's one of those horror thriller films that's meant to be funny. You know, sometimes when you watch these movies, like, is it funny and like it's meant to be funny, or is it funny and how bad it is funny? It's more funny how it's meant to be funny. Like the comedic stuff in this movie works very well. Ray Nicholson's an absolute comedic force in this movie. Like he's funny. Samara Weaving's funny as well. I think we've kind of gotten used to her and the way of her acting and stuff from throughout the history we've been with her. She's become a bit of a scream queen herself, or definitely in the running with the scream queen. I mean, what, the two Babysitter films? She was in Scream. She was in Ready or Not. They're doing a part two to that. She was in Guns Akimbo. I know it's not a horror movie, but still worth mentioning. So we're used to her. We like her. We like the Samara Weaving on this channel. I think she's great, and she's doing a really good job in this movie as well with all her with her performance in the film, and giving off the vibe that she needs to give off in this movie as the celebrity, as well as the scared. Trying to figure out participant of what's happening in this movie with all that. Ray Nicholson, I mean, he's just this is the second thing I've seen him in. Of course, I saw him in Smile 2. That was the first thing I saw him in last year and thought he was great and all that stuff. And he, does a good job with the creepy smile and all that stuff. And he does it again in this movie, playing the stalker character in the movie and being creepy, and he's just the way he morphs his face. I mean, he's Jack Nicholson's son. Obviously some of that's going to be in there with him as well, and he's doing a great job, man. I could see those Jack Nicholson mannerisms and the stuff he was doing and all that, and just again, he deserves to stand on his own, but you can see it, right? Like you can see in his performance that he's got that gene in him for sure. He's going to be onto the future as a top star for years and years to come, because he does a great job, and he's doing fantastic in this movie, between being the craze stalker and the freaking goofball comedic stuff that he's doing in this movie. So he's pulling it off, and that's one of the bright spots of this movie as well, is that the cast is just solid. From like all the people, the majority of the people you're gonna meet in this movie are all freaking solid, man. Like we already mentioned Samara and Ray, but we've got Eric Dane in this movie. He does a great job. We've got Alpha Baptista. She's doing a good job in this movie as well. Like she is a bright spot. Like I don't know anything of hers. Let's look her up real quick. This is definitely the first thing I believe I've seen her in, but she is Chris Evans' wife apparently. So there you go. That's you figure that out right quick, really quickly. Go ahead. Good job, Mr. Chris Evans. I'm not recognizing anything off the rip here for that she's been in, but she's great in this movie. Like she is absolutely fantastic in the movie. And I can tell you what her character is and all that stuff because we try to avoid spoilers here on the Review It Rob show, but she's really good as well. The movie works, man. Like the movie works from start to finish. Like I don't have any real issues with it. I thought the script was good. I thought the performances were really good. The runtime 1 hour 30 some odd minutes, not bad. There's definitely stuff we could have cut out. Like there's this one scene I was like, I don't need this at all. Like which happens with some movies. It's bound to happen that there may be some scenes, not all the time. You will run across some movies that are just perfect from start to finish for you and all that stuff. For me, there was like some scenes I would have cut out of the movie and chopped it down just a little bit lower. Like there's some scenes you don't need whatsoever, but I think it's fun. I think it's good mystery. I think there's good thriller into it. I think there's very good comedy in it. It's not overly violent. I know it did get rated R for some violence. Not overly violent. There are violent moments in there. There is some gore. There's a little bloodshed, but nothing over the top. Nothing Saw. Nothing Evil Deadish about it or anything like that. Pretty practical. Violence, if you will, in the movie and all that. So overall, man, I thought it was an enjoyable time. I rented it on Vudu for like $6, $7. Rented on Vudu. It just came out, so you can like buy it for like 16 or something like that. And I went ahead and rented it. But I enjoyed it. It's very quickly. It was very enjoyable. It was quick, quick watch. I was entertained. I was roped in the whole time. Like, let's see how this freaking all works out and where they're going with this stuff. So, entertaining film, worth your time. Again, it is rentable on VOD. I rented it on Vudu. I'm sure it's available on other streaming services for you to rent. It is in theaters, so if you want to support theaters and go see it there, more than welcome to go do that, of course. But to me, solid movie, man. Solid movie. It is currently in my top 5 films of the year. How many movies have I seen? I've seen about 10 or 11 this year. Let's just double check real quick. But yeah, it's top 3, honestly, for me this year. It's not better than Companion, and it's not better than Hard Eyes. But I do have it third on my list out of 13 films this year so far. So that lets you know how much I enjoyed it. So again, it's available for rent on video on demand services. I've rented it on Vudu, but worth your time. If you like mystery films, if you like comedy movies, perfect mix of both of them. Samara Weaving's fantastic. Ray Nicholson's fantastic. They work great together. The whole film, again, the majority of the cast you see in this movie is very good. There's no bad spots about it, man. They make it all work very well. So Borderline 2025. Make sure you 2025 Borderline because there is another film obviously called Borderline out there, but this one is 2025. So go ahead and check that out, man. But it gets my support. Fun time movie. Actually, I want to watch it again. Very good. Very good movie. Very good, solid stuff that happens throughout this movie. Stuff that happens that's like freaking, oh, I didn't see that coming, or stuff that's like, oh my god, it's so insane. Like, and that's one of those things with this movie. It is insane. I talk around myself to not spoil anything, but the vibes of the characters and all this stuff and the explanation of the characters and everything like that. But there's some insanity going on with scenes where like, what are we doing this? Yes, we are doing this, and it works very well. So again, Borderline, worth your time. Go check it out, man. Worth your $6 or $7, however much you want to spend on it to rent, or if you want to go see it in theaters, go see it in theaters, man. But that is my thoughts on the film. If you ended up checking it out, let me know your thoughts in the comments below, please. All right, if you're sticking around for news, it is news time. I'm not dumb. I know some people leave this show after the review. That's fine. I get it. I just appreciate you spending some time with me. But we're going to jump into news, and it seems perfectly right to step into the horror, spooky thriller realm and just keep hanging out over here. We love it over here. And might as well talk about another, kid of a famous actor. I think we got that a couple times here in the news. Kicking it off in horror realm with Jack Quaid. He is out there doing promotion for the Novocaine film that also came out this week. And he was asked, of course, about Scream 7. Of course, he was in Scream 5, but it's just called Scream. He was in Scream, and he was asked if he would be, or if he's seen what's been going on with the next Scream film and all that stuff. And he was asked about it, and he said, quote, "I don't know for sure yet. I will keep my mouth closed on that one," end quote. Sounds like he's in it, right? It sounds like at this point, why not? Let's just bring back everybody. Let's bring back the freaking cameraman that got killed off in one of the movies. Let's go ahead and bring back freaking I'm blanking on his name, but what's that? Randy. Let's bring him back. Let's bring them all back. Bring them all back. Why not? Who cares? Who cares at this point? Let's just bring them all back. Why not? Mikey Madison, good luck getting her. She just won an Oscar, but go ahead and get her back and all that stuff. I don't know what Emma Roberts is doing, but if she's not in it, big F you to this movie. She's not in it. But yeah, We're gonna wait and see with this movie. I just saw something before recording where the Foley was like, I'm confused about it as well. So it's very confusing. It's very good. We're just gonna have to wait and see. We're just gonna have to wait and see how it all unfolds. But they're making stuff over there they should not be. Well, I mean they can make whatever they want, but let me tell you, man, I am perplexed why you would have announced any of this at all. It would have been just better for them to show up on screen. But hey, I get it. You've heard people saying they're going to boycott your film, so let's tease them and give them all this stuff to make them come see your movie. So I get what you're doing there. I get what you're doing. All right, let's see. If you're a Tim Burton fan, good news for you. There is a documentary series on the way for Mr. Tim Burton. The trailer did come out over last week. Looks interesting. It's going to be, of course, documentary. It looks like it's going to be going through his whole career. They got Christopher Walken in that bad boy. They got Johnny Depp in that bad boy. We got a lot of people that he's worked with talking about Tim Burton's creations and all that stuff in there, man. No release date for it yet. I don't think it's known where it's going to be at, where it's going to be released or anything like that. But if you're a Tim Burton fan, you're paying attention to this, you're going to see it and all that stuff. I know they showed Batman and they're got to see the cool stuff that goes on with that and everything around that whole realm. Because me, I'm a DC guy. I love my DC stuff, so can't wait to see that docuseries. It looks like it's gonna be a good one. Netflix is doing a Cujo remake. Why not? Stephen King movies keep existing. They're going to keep making those things. I've said it multiple times, but once that It movie took off, they're like, hey, let's start making a bunch of Stephen King movies. And they seem to be doing all right. The most recent one was The Monkey. My review is out there for that one. I have friends who say it's their favorite film of the year so far. My review's out there for you to hear it and all that stuff. Not a bad movie by any means, but I have issues with it. But that's the most recent Stephen King dealio that's out there. And then, of course, Cujo's going to be remade. Cujo, it came out before I was born, but I remember seeing it when I was younger and being freaked out by that movie. Like, that was a freaky movie. And just again, that's why he's the master's. He does such a masterful job with suspense and everything, and how masterfully put together that movie is. If you haven't seen that movie, watch Cujo. Cujo's a really good movie, but it primarily takes place with mother and her child in a car, stuck in a car with a ravenous freaking dog stalking them. Insane movie. Like, if you've not seen that movie, watch it. That is a good movie. But Netflix is doing a remake of it. No director, no cast, no script, writers, anything like that's been announced. I don't think. I know director and cast hasn't been announced. I'm not 100% sure on if production and stuff like that's been announced. But Netflix is going to be doing it. And does Netflix count as production? I don't know, man. Joe Schmo. I'm the common man reviewer. I just talk. I just talk. I'm not the mastermind reviewer. I'm not the person to be talking to you about cinematography and using big, bold words or anything like that. I'm a common man podcaster, man. So that's happening. And then while movie premieres are happening and all that stuff, Jenna Ortega is doing premieres for Death of a Unicorn, the movie with her and Paul Rudd. I think Eyebrows in the movie as well. Pretty solid cast in that movie. And she was asked because it has to do with mythical creature with unicorns and all that stuff. And she was asked about mythical creatures and all that stuff, and she was given all these other kind of answers. And she ends up going towards Gremlins. She's like, you know what? I like Gremlins and all that stuff. And she's like, I'll do a Gremlins, right? So, that's gonna have to happen, right? Like, Jenna Ortega, one of the biggest names in all of acting right now, whether you like her or not, is indisputable that she is one of the bigger names out there. She's got seems to have constant work and all this stuff. People are constantly interested in her and all that. We've got Wednesday season 2 coming up later this year. Like, if you're the team behind Gremlins, like, you should be already like, hey, write a script, get in contact with Jenna Ortega, see what she's doing. People still like Gremlins, right? Isn't that animated show came out recently? I think it's still going. I don't know. I haven't watched it. But it's a property people still like. It's a property people still talk about. There's, my other show, the Halloween Horror Nights show I mentioned. People still clamoring for a Gremlins house. They've been wanting that at Halloween Horror Nights for the last couple of years. I don't know if that'll happen, but especially since we seem to be moving away from the '80s a little bit. But yeah, I don't know how you don't immediately, like, if I'm running a production company, if I'm running like a Warner Brothers or whatever, like, Jenna Ortega said, what? Okay, let's go. Like, find me some script writers. Let's get in contact with her first. Like, are you serious? Would you want to do a Gremlins movie? All right, what do you want to do? Who do you want to work with? Get freaking Tim Burton to do it. Why not? You're working with him over there with Wednesday. Why not have some weird looking gizmo out there? Um, but again, I don't know how you don't put that into production and get that rolling because that's just easy money right there. That's easy money right there. What are we doing? All right, is that it? That's it for horror thriller world. DC realm. Jason Ritter, so again, another famous son of an actor, has been cast in the upcoming DC Studios series of Lanterns. It is said that Ritter will be playing a character by the name of Billy Macon, who is described as a good looking charmer who does his father's bidding, capitalizing on his family's reputation. He clings to his small town ego and has everything to lose. So, knowing Jason Ritter and the things I've seen him in, I think he can pull that off. Like I think that's a character he can absolutely pull off. I like Jason Ritter, of course, the son of John, the late great John Ritter. Um, I've liked him. I've seen him in the things I've seen him in. I think he's enjoyable. I think he's in the Matlock show right now, but I like him. Welcome him to the DC world. I think he can do something good with that character. The character sounds like something he could easily pull off. So we'll see that when the Lantern show's on the way. But that show seems to be building very well over there with what they got going on, and I am one for definitely excited. And I think last bit of news time now. Yes, last bit of news here is that Stranger Things star Sadie Sink has joined the cast of Spider-Man 4 over there in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. We went from DC to Marvel Cinematic. I can talk about both of them, baby. I can talk about both of them. I prefer DC, but I'll talk about both of them. I like some of that Marvel stuff, but Sadie Sinks, I did say Stranger Things star, but other genre that we talk about horror on this show. She was, of course, in the Fear Street films. She was in The Whale with Brandon Fraser. That's not a horror movie, but maybe could be. I don't know. To somebody who was watching it, I don't know. It's a horror to me. Seeing that beat Elvis, but whatever. Beside the point. It's a topic for another day. But I get why it won. I get why it won. No hate towards Brendan. We love Brendan Fraser on the show, but still. Anyways, Sadie Sink. I think she's been doing a really good job with the projects that she's been picking. She has this movie coming out that's very oh god, I don't remember the name of it, but they released a trailer not that long ago. And it's like she's playing a musician who's doing like a songs and it's like apocalyptic and all that stuff. Could be very wrong. It was a very weird movie. Like it was a trailer that was for what looked like a very weird movie. But she's making choices and that seems to be doing a very good job. I can't say necessarily the same thing about Millie Bobby Brown, which no hate towards her. She's a very good actress as well. I mean, some of the best emoting skills you'll ever see, especially when she was younger doing that Stranger Things show. And Stranger Things is supposed to be coming later this year. We'll see if that actually happens or not. But I like it, and I like the idea of her being in it. Rumors, obviously, are going to be like she's playing this redhead or she's playing that redhead. I hope, rumor-wise, that it would be Jean Grey, is what they've mentioned multiple times. Um, some rumors said maybe she'll be playing Mary Jane, which I don't know unless it's from another world. I mean, again, Zendaya is playing MJ, not necessarily Mary Jane. I think her name is Mary. I don't know what her name is. But yeah, that's gonna bother me. Her name is not. It's not Mary. What is it? Michelle. It's Michelle Jones Watson, right? I gotta Google it. I gotta Google it. Yeah, Michelle Jones Watson. All right, cool, 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 cool. So, um, so still an MJ in a way. I don't know. I mean, they're messing with all kinds of stuff in multiverses and all that stuff over there, more with Marvel. So anything could happen. There, people have pointed out as well that in the previous two Spider-Man films, they've cast a redhead to play Gwen Stacy, like Gwen Stacy, who's a blonde. They cast, um, God, blanking on names, but of course Emma Stone as oh god, it's Bryce Dallas Howard. Love her. Bryce Dallas Howard as Gwen Stacy in the Tobey Maguire Spider-Mans. Emma Stone as Gwen Stacy in the Andrew Garfield Spider-Mans. And there's been that before. It's like, oh, they're going to continue that trend of casting a redhead to play Gwen Stacy, which is fine. I don't think Gwen Stacy's shown up in the Spider-Man films. I mean, why we've already got it freaking up here. Spider-Man. No, she hasn't, right? Who did Angari play? Angari wasn't playing her. No, no, it's just AI stuff talking about it and all that. Yeah, I don't think she's been there. Yeah, and Gari's not. We're just that's what we're doing. Spider-Man and Gary Rise, who was in Mean Girls, and y'all should watch that. It's also in that school movie on Paramount or whatever. Honor Society. That's the name of that movie. What am I looking up? Who does she play? Who? Da, 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 da. Gosh dang it. All right, this is just a pain in the behind. But I'm pretty sure she's not Gwen Stacy. Fairly obvious. She is Betty. Betty Brant. So no, she's not Gwen Stacy. All right. Nonetheless, we are we are happy with Sadie Sink joining the Marvel Cinematic Universe. I think she's gonna be great playing across Tom Holland and whatever they're doing in that movie. Of course, I think the last time we saw Spider-Man, nobody remembers Peter Parker. So I'll see how that all ends up working out. I don't think a release date's been announced for Spider-Man 4 yet. I think maybe it has. I feel like there has. Spider-Man 4. This is how the show works. July 31st, 2026. So good thing I didn't say. Good thing I didn't set anything on that. But there you go. 2026 next year, summertime. I'm excited, man. I like those Spider-Man movies in the MCU. I think all of them have been pretty dang entertaining. So why not? The addition of Sadie Sink just continues to add to it. But nonetheless, man, that's gonna be it for this episode. We kind of went downhill there at the end. I apologize. It happens on this show. But that's gonna do it for this episode. So again, Borderline, check it out. Fun little mystery thriller comic movie for you to check out. 1 hour 30 minutes. You can see it on video streaming services. You rent it for like $6, $7 or whatever, or you can buy it for like 16. And then we talked all kinds of horror news, and then get that one bit of DC, that one bit of Marvel there to close it out, man. So as always, appreciate you hanging out with me in the movie realm. If you can do me a favor, please hit that like and share with your friends. Help us grow. We're pretty close to 100 subscribers. So if you can help me make that happen, that'd be awesome, man. Much appreciated. But nonetheless, if you don't do that, that's cool too, man. I appreciate it. I do this show out of love, out of creativity, and I love doing the show, man. So passion projects galore. Speaking of, Halloween Horror Night show. If you haven't checked it out yet, man, if you're just here for the movie stuff, appreciate that. If you like, if you're thinking about Halloween Horror Nights, go check out my Halloween Horror Nights show. It's called Into the Fog with Wolfman Rob, also on this channel, where I'm talking about Halloween Horror Nights history and what's coming up with the events and all that stuff, man. So if you do me a favor and check that out as well, it might be much appreciated. But as always, thank you. I'm a goofball. I randomly just go off. You just saw it happen on this show. But I enjoy doing this show. I appreciate the fact that anybody would take the time to listen to me ramble on. You probably already left the episode at this point, but if you're still here, thank you. As always, like to remind you that you do matter. You are capable of incredible, incredible things. You are brilliant. Believe in yourself. Trust yourself. Be kind to yourself, man. Keep working. Your goals are there. You got the ability inside of you that makes you capable of achieving those goals. So just keep fighting for them. Keep looking out for yourself. Keep believing in yourself, and things will come true to you. So again, you matter. Trust yourself. Love yourself. Be kind to yourself. And as always, remember that happiness can be found even in the darkest of times if one only remembers to turn on the light. Talk to you all next week.